We're live. Carry it.
Yeah, Thomas told me I had to carry today, and I said, Thomas, I carry every week, so this is no different. But today we have my homeboy John Cincola. Followed me all the way over from the Midwest over to Austin, and now we're podcasting together. So welcome.
Thank you.
What was the impetus for the move to Austin?
No way you said that word right.
Impetus, yeah.
I'm pretty sure I'm like 70% sure I did.
Well, my wife and I had always, our long-term plans always involved moving somewhere warmer. As you know, Chicago, Milwaukee, weather's not great there. So we have twin daughters that just turned 8, and it was kind of, before they got too deep into school, it's kind of a now or never thing. Obviously pickleball, the level of pickleball down here is very good. So that helped, but
right. I'm down here. Maddie Pickles is down here. Maurice the Grease.
Exactly. That was the crew.
It really doesn't get better.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, yesterday was pretty good, huh?
Oh my God, that was rough.
Who did you guys play with?
They can't all be great days from.
We played with Wyatt and Carlos.
Is Wyatt around here now too?
Wyatt lives over in New Braunfels. I think he's in New Braunfels. So he's like 45 minutes away.
Do you guys play at the Stop Alzheimer's Now courts all the time?
We do.
Always. That's like 5 minutes from my house, which is amazing. Works out great for me.
Yeah.
Everyone else travels, and I get to drive 5 minutes up the road.
Lucky you.
Wait for my invite over there.
Speaking of which, we got a new sponsor for the swear jar. My friends from Canada, Chad, Game Plus and Access TV. Game Plus is actually the home of MLP in Canada for this year. Major League Pickleball is on Game Plus. Every event is live in 2023 and 2024. There are MLP replays on weekday mornings, MLP replays every Sunday all afternoon, and you can get Game Plus Network everywhere in Canada and also Fubo TV. And they are also sponsoring our Potty Mouths. So swear away. Thank you to Game Plus. That's awesome. So ProXR also sponsoring the swear jar. I feel like need to swear more to keep these guys happy.
Yeah, you got multiple Is that all like matching?
Yeah, they're matching up to us. They capped it. They're smart. It's capped. Don't worry.
Nice. All right. I'll try to get after it.
Yeah. So, Atlanta. How was Atlanta for you last weekend? APP.
It was good. I had a couple. Well, I played with Jack Monroe. I don't know if everyone knows Jack Monroe. You know him around here, obviously. If you don't, you got to go back and watch the old, what was it, 2000? Did you ever see that Jack Monroe video when he was like 12 years old?
No.
It's classic. You got to go check it out.
Is it a pickleball video?
Jack Monroe's been playing pickleball longer than any of us.
Okay.
So he had a piece on him when he was younger. He broke his arm, whatever, and picked up pickleball when he was like 12 years old. So, but anyway, he is in Austin. I played this tournament with him. He's super, super talented, plays ambidextrous, righty, lefty, all kinds of trick shots. So that was a blast playing with him. And then I played mixed with Tammy Emmerich, who I play quite a bit with, and it was good. We had
Did she fight with any fans?
No, not this time.
Yeah.
She's kind of embraced the I'm feisty now role though.
Yeah, right.
Which is great. She was just everyone. Yeah, exactly. Everyone comes up to her and says stuff to her, and she's leaning into it. So
send it.
I
don't know much about Tammy. I've played against Martin a couple times, and he's great. Love Martin.
Yeah, I've actually, because I see them all the time now at the tournaments, but I've actually become pretty good friends with both of them, and I love them both. They're super nice people, great competitors. So yeah.
How did he do in the tournament this week? I didn't see his name. Was he there?
Who did he play mixed with? I don't remember who he played mixed with, but he played men's with Sobek, and in the first round, Sobek rolled his ankle he stepped on a camera, something or other, in the corner of the court, rolled his ankle, and so then they had to pull out. So that's probably why I didn't see it.
Yikes.
Mm-hmm.
They were pretty big draws. So our source, Maddie Klitsch, also the founder of the world's shortest pickleball podcast, shout out. He let us know that this was a first in the APP. There were 12 women's doubles qualifiers, there were 45 teams in mixed doubles qualifying, 52 in men's singles, and 37 in men's doubles.
Yeah, it was wild.
That's crazy. That's more than that's in the actual draw.
There was a ton of, this is probably the first time there was a ton of like women's faces that I'd never seen before. So I think last year the men's draws were growing really rapidly and the women's were still pretty small, but now that the women are kind of seeing the growth and they're coming out of the woodwork too, because the women's draws are getting big, qualifying and all that stuff. So it's good to see.
Any, did you catch any of it or play any of those people? Anybody like standing out initially that's, battling qualities right now?
No one that I noticed. We were watching a couple matches and it was still like heavy tennis, where they're just ripping thirds, driving everything, a lot of hands battles, so it was kind of tough to tell I didn't notice anyone that was kind of sticking out.
Fair.
Yeah.
All right. So, this weekend had a lot of drama at the APP. This is probably going to be one of the more covered like APP tournaments. Maybe it's because I actually did some homework this time around. But what did you think of Megan Fudge's tweet? And for those who don't know, Megan Fudge tweeted 4 overrules in a match, not to mention the ones the refs couldn't 100% clearly overturn. Consequences have to be put in place. Nonetheless, get past her and get to play for gold on Sunday.
Thomas, what do you think?
Good delegation. Well, I'm trying to remember the one because I was just watching it where it's Megan versus Judith, and I think Megan hits a shot. It looks like it's out. Judith calls it out, and the ref, something happened. There was a discrepancy, and do you know what happened on that?
Yeah,
this was the
ref
one.
made one of the absolute worst overrules I've seen.
Right,
and then. So that's later on the agenda. If you actually open up your laptop, that's on that's on the agenda.
Well, that happened in the Roscoe match too. Did you see that one?
I just want to hang out. Wait, hold on. But the ref overruled Judith.
So Judith made a call that was clearly the correct call and got overruled.
Right, and so because Megan challenged.
Correct.
Okay, and then because it happened so quickly that it almost looked as if the ref just inserted herself without any sort of challenge. So I wasn't sure.
Oh, maybe. I'm assuming that Megan had to say something.
Because Megan did a fist pump she hit a great shot, but it was clearly out.
I didn't see any of that one.
Yeah.
It was probably a worse overrule than the one on Roscoe.
Wow.
And the one on Roscoe, it was an easy serve right down the tee. And the ref was at the wrong angle to call it.
You can't see it from where he was standing.
And it was probably a good 2 inches outside the line. Not even hovering, right? Where it's hovering over the line, but 2 inches to the side of the line. And Roscoe didn't even know what to do at first. He was
wasn't there a ref on the other side?
Yeah,
or no,
there was.
And
there
so
were
didn't say anything.
2 refs. I don't think Roscoe knew what to do. He was like, "Are you kidding me?"
Do you think you're responsible for this at all?
What, refs being bad?
Yes. Or asserting themselves.
How
many episodes have you sat here and done this thing?
All right, fair.
The refs never see anything.
Fair. Okay, you're right.
Now they're making definitive calls. And here you go, complaining again.
Yeah, I guess I just like to complain. Damn, that was a good call out. I don't have anything for that.
Yeah.
Yeah, but like he said, from it matters what angle you're looking at. The ref that clearly overruled it was standing on the side where you can't see the ball in the line, you can't see space. I could understand if the other ref on the other side said it, but they have to kind of. I don't know how you could make a call that definitive from where he was standing.
Right, and they're not doing video reviews in APPs usually, are they?
Not that I know of.
Right. So, is that kind of the obvious solution here?
I think the obvious solution is Roscoe calls a timeout, pulls up the live stream, shows it to the referee, and then it's now what?
Dude,
right.
Didn't somebody do that
I would do that so much.
Didn't Anna Bright do that one time? She's like showing a referee that it wasn't a foot fault, like, and it clearly wasn't.
She got called on a push off. And she took like multiple steps.
Oh, you know what? She actually challenged it too, didn't she? She challenged it. They like royally screw up the challenge somehow. It was
plain as day. You could see it, and somehow they looked at the tape and couldn't tell. But wild.
Yikes!
I wonder if refs are like don't want to make themselves look bad by overturning themselves if they make an initial call, and then they're constantly having to go to the challenge and reverse their own call. But I don't know.
Right. You have to stand by it for sure.
Yeah.
But like I would imagine, I've never been in a room where they're like giving refs the overview of how to handle a match, but I would imagine that is part of the conversation. Like once you make your call, you stick to it, and there's no arbitration, right? You don't give at all, because that opens a door for players to complain to you all the time,
right?
And try and convince you of whatever they believe.
Yeah, I definitely think that even if you make the wrong call, you probably just kind of double down. Like baseball umpires do it all the time. And then we need some like ejection videos. Like somebody's just got to get up in their face and start yelling at them. John,
all right. I'll put it on the list for.
What's the most pissed off you've ever been at a ref?
Yeah, you seem like a pretty even keel guy. Have you ever got pretty pissed on the court? And
9:58 yesterday morning.
Oh, I was just gonna say. I may have had a 150-foot paddle throw yesterday. Who knows? I can't remember a specific time of being mad at a ref. No, I can't think of anything specific. Oh, I actually did have one this weekend. What was that call? I don't even remember now. But like, it's usually pretty like, I'll plead my case for 10 seconds and then move on. Like I'm not just gonna like go on and on about it. So
never goes through your head, I'm gonna pull up the live stream on my phone right now.
No,
that would go through my head every single time. The only thing worse, it would be like, okay, you pull up the live stream and then you're doing the little, cursor back and forth, and you realize, oh shit, they're right.
You're wrong.
There's one swear, by the way. You marked that one.
Yeah, there you go. $20. So I have an opinion, as I normally do. Like, I think that we rely too much on the certification level of a referee. And I think I've said this before, but I don't care how certified a ref. I don't care if they're a level 1, a level 2, or level 3, a level 7, whatever.
I didn't even know that was a thing.
Yeah, neither did I.
There are different levels of...
Is that just number of matches you've called?
So. Yes. So it's like experience.
Right.
All I care about from a player perspective is, do they see, like, are they going to call foot faults? And like, as an added bonus, can they hear? And like... Good. I would actually, legitimately, I would rather the referee know almost nothing about pickleball, but will actually see the ball in or out. That's the main thing. Like, all the players, for the most part, know the rules, know the rule book, like, pretty well, at least, or well enough. And if there's a real big rules dispute, we're going to go to the head referee anyway, regardless of how certified the person on the court is. Like, I just think we need... I think they probably need to get paid more, and we need to have better refs.
So are you, without really saying it, are you making an age thing here?
I mean, highly correlated, yeah.
Okay.
I don't care how old you are, as long as you can see and hopefully hear as well.
Got it.
And yeah, those skills deteriorate over time. Fair. So you can be 100, but if you have eagle eyes, I don't care.
Yeah.
So... I don't know. Thoughts on that?
Glad we cleared that up so we don't get canceled for ageism.
Right.
Fair.
Yeah.
So yeah, if we get canceled for ageism first out of all the other things that I've said, like, all right.
Thoughts on that? I mean, yeah, I think that's fair. I don't know. How would you say that pertains to the situation that you brought up with Megan?
Well, I mean, I think the situation with Megan, that's probably just a rules thing. When you played college tennis, did they have the system of the overrule system where there's point penalties?
Not yet. I think it was actually just coming into place like when I was finishing, because it was being so blatantly like abused, like if no one was around, people just make calls, so I think they were starting to implement that stuff towards the end of my college career.
Yeah. So
what
tennis
did
is,
you play?
we didn't really have that at least in Division 3. But what tennis has already sort of gone through this with players calling their own lines. If there's nobody around or a referee that's not going to make an overturn, there is no penalty for calling every single rally ending shot out, other than, obviously people are going to crap on you on the internet. But when you have the rare person that doesn't care what anybody else thinks and only wants to win, if you are somebody who only wants to win and cares about nothing else, every single time the rally ends, you should call the ball out, because there are no repercussions for doing so. And sometimes the referee won't be able to overrule you. And so in tennis, cheating was a huge problem, still is, but they implemented a system where the first time you're overruled by a referee on your line call, you get a warning. The second time you're overruled, you get a point penalty. The third time you're overruled, you get a game. Fourth time, I think, is set. And fifth time, I believe, is the match.
Mm-hmm.
And I think there probably needs to be some form of repercussions for getting overruled so many times.
Yeah, I would agree with that. The only issue is there has to be a more, going back to what we just talked about, there has to be a more surefire way for the ref to know.
Right.
Because now you talk about like what happened with Roscoe. Like if he makes a call, which is a legitimate call, and then the ref overrules him, and now he's getting penalized twice because he's losing a point he should have won, and then he's getting whatever penalty for being overruled incorrectly. That sucks twice. So I think in order to implement a system like that, you'd have to have some sort of replay to be sure that the call's right. And then you can say, okay, there's a penalty in place if you get it wrong.
Yeah.
Which I think was what we were doing at MLP, correct? I mean, it was
after like the free challenges.
Yeah.
But tennis doesn't have the same thing at the college level. There's no replay there. It's all referee discretion, and the referees are going to screw it up badly. But what are the odds of the referees like making 3 bad calls all in the other person's favor and you getting penalized? Like,
yeah, I see that. If you're talking multiple times, if you're talking like 2, 3, 4 times in a match, then odds are that some sort of pattern is occurring, and there's something going on there. So.
Yeah. So Roscoe got hosed on that one call, but he called everything fair the entire match, and so getting hosed once shouldn't be a problem for him.
Yeah.
Somebody else who's playing Megan Fudge getting overruled 4 times, yeah, that's a problem.
So what do you think it should be? 1 free one, then a point?
Yeah, maybe 1 free one. Loss of so the jump from point to game, I think, is really big in pickleball. So I think maybe 1 free one. The second time is either a loss of serve if you're serving, or loss of timeout.
Mm-hmm.
Then the third time being point, 4th time game. Because a game doesn't mean as much in tennis as it does in pickleball.
Yeah, I guess could you do multiple points?
You could. You could do like
multiplying effect.
Yeah, you could do like 3 points, whatever.
Yeah,
sure.
So was this tournament an outlier? Or has this been sort of like a building issue
in terms of line calls?
Mm-hmm.
I mean, this is only one. Like as far as we know, this is just this situation with Megan. Correct? It's not like there was like multiple matches with multiple bad calls. But it has kind of all surrounded around one person, more or less. I don't know. In your experience, is there... I don't think it's like a rampant problem among... I haven't had a match I could personally think of, maybe one, that I had an
name
issue
names.
like this.
Oh yeah, which match would that happen to be, John?
I don't know. Maybe someone you were talking smack about at MLP.
Uh,
It's so long ago. I kind of want to. It was in PPA Atlanta in 2022. It was semifinals.
oh yeah, okay, I remember that one. Gotcha.
It was only twice, but they were both overruled by the ref, and they were both like at big points in the third game.
Mm-hmm.
But you know, it's not like it's not. That's the only time it's ever happened, and who knows if that even affected the outcome, you know. So.
Sure. It does seem like I'm actually somewhat surprised that we haven't seen the line calls continue to get worse. Like it seems like people, for the most part, other than a select few, are not blatantly cheating, which is nice.
Yeah, I mean, it's been my experience of, I don't know, most of the people that I know on the tour are people that I like and people that I hang out with and people that I think are good people, and so I don't know. I mean,
Yeah, but that's part of it too, right? Like the relationships, the close community kind of to a degree keeps people in line. As a sport grows and new faces come in, you know, there'll be less concern with that. It'll only be the court of public opinion on like Twitter, right? And if you don't care about that, then, and there's no repercussions, you know, it's to your advantage to just err on the side of calling something out.
it is tough when you have to see the same people week after week, and these are people you hang out with and spend time with and travel with, whatever, you know. So I don't think it's in anyone's best interest to make a bunch of enemies.
Right.
Fair.
But like you said, that as the game gets bigger and you've got hundreds of pros, and you know, maybe that'll change.
Interesting. Well, I'm glad that it hasn't become rampant. Like there's always some you know, questionable calls at important times, but generally I'm not getting hooked like 5 times a match. But
have you ever had any like really bad ones that you can think of?
I mean, yeah, I've been hooked plenty of times. I've never had like somebody's hooked me 5 times in a match type of deal. Yeah. So hopefully it stays that way. And I do think there's something to it, like having to, you know, in junior tennis or in college tennis. In college tennis, you play this team once per year, and you know, you got to see the person once per year. If you hook somebody in pro pickleball, like you got to look them in the eye tomorrow, right. And then the next weekend, right, and then you might be paired up with them on an MLP team.
Exactly.
Like, you got to interact with these people a lot more.
Yeah, it's tough to make too many enemies out there for sure.
So Susanna and Megan take down Paris and Simone for the first time for their first gold over them. They've won some golds, but never in a tournament with Paris and Simone. Paris and Simone were, I think, undefeated on the APP tour this year. You mentioned that you had watched some of that and the interview, and like there were some weird vibes out there. I don't know. I watched a little bit. There were weird vibes. Did you catch any of this, Thomas?
Yeah, like the post, I actually went back and just watched the post-match interview because I heard it was sort of odd, right? But it just, to me, looks like Simone's been struggling with injuries for a while now, right? And it's getting to her. And after a loss, it got to her even more, and it sort of built. And yeah, there was definitely like, I was trying to see if there was any sort of tension between Simone and Paris specifically, but I really couldn't tell. But yeah, definitely something was off with Simone. It was an odd interview, and she sort of cut herself off because it looked like she was starting to get emotional. But I think it's just like the wear and tear of she's been touring for so long, and she's just trying to stay healthy to keep going. That's how I interpreted it. I didn't know if there was anything else beyond that.
Yeah, I happened to see the interview just like almost in a bubble. Like I didn't watch any of the match or anything else.
Right.
And somehow I like happened to turn it on at the time the interview happened, and I was extremely confused because I just assume that like something happened in the match that
Right.
it pissed her off or what, because like she was asked a pretty like normal neutral question, and then she just kind of went off on a tangent.
Right.
And so I don't know, did something happen in the match? Like, was there a specific in-match injury that prompted all that?
Yeah, so Simone and Paris were up pretty big in game 3 against Alex and Vivian Glosman, Alex Trung and Vivian Glosman. And I think they start coming back a little bit. I think it's like 10-4, 10-5, something or another. And Paris and Simone like fought over a middle ball and clunked, I think Paris may have smacked her hand on it.
Mm-hmm.
And then, she didn't look great for the rest of that match. It looked like it shook her more like mentally than physically even.
Yeah, but I was wondering, like, back to what you said, did it I got a sense in the interview that she was like pissed off at Paris.
Yeah.
Was
like,
that
really?
Was that like
I couldn't tell. I mean, I don't know.
Yeah,
Like,
I don't
so
know.
going into
There's weird tension. I agree. I don't
going into MLP, it's like, most of the people making predictions, giving their analysis were like, yeah, Simone and Paris aren't going to do well. So there's a lot of pressure on them.
Mm-hmm.
They didn't do that well, right? They haven't lost an APP up to this point. They're coming off of that poor performance in Atlanta. And for the first time, they don't take home the gold. They got double dipped, right? Which is it's just like salt in the wound, right? It's the worst way to lose. So I could see all of those things just compounding. And again, with Simone's injuries over and over again, like I feel like it was just kind of one of those moments where it all came to the forefront.
But this, correct me if I'm wrong, but this interview was after.
It was
not after the gold medal match.
It was after they won their winners bracket match.
Oh.
Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
Oh.
So
there was another very strange interview after after they lost the gold medal match as well.
Huh.
I didn't see any of that one. Similar vibe.
No, it was
the vibes.
How were the vibes? The vibes were off. The vibes were definitely off. I don't know why the vibes were off, but they were off. Yeah, I mean, I wonder, she pretty willingly brought up the retirement thing and talking about how she's one injury away from she, at 40, whatever she is, she doesn't recover nearly as well.
Mm-hmm.
John does. John's just a beast. Can you believe this guy's, what are you, like 42?
43.
43, holy shit.
Wild, right?
Yeah. Just
a lot of stretching. That's the key, I think.
There it is. You do a lot of glute workouts too, huh?
Yeah.
Yeah.
Sure. Me and Brendan Long.
Best male booties in pickleball for sure.
Yeah, hold on. I actually have a list in my notes.
Okay, yeah. What is it? Who's best? This is the stuff that people want to hear.
Right.
this is the stuff. Anyway. Yeah. So
I actually had, we were in New York for a fives practice, and we were practicing at Lifetime, and a guy came up to me and said, I think he was like the pro at Lifetime or something, but he mentioned that like he likes my videos, or he's like, wanted to get a picture and mentioned that he liked yeah, exactly. Likes my YouTube videos, and he said his wife really likes my YouTube videos. And then so we were playing, and he comes over and shows me a text, and his wife had texted him, "Is his butt actually as good in person as the video?" So I got a kick out of that.
Yeah, if there's one thing you're known for,
I guess. Yeah, who knew? I didn't. This was news to me when it happened, but so yeah. Anyway.
Yeah, well, we'll have to make the list for next time. Best butts in pickleball. You're a front runner, John. So
workouts.
Yeah.
Vuori.com/thedink. 20% off your first purchase. Free shipping on orders $75 or over. Wow, I really had to rack the brain for that one, even though we've done this a million times. I've got this, I don't even know what model this is, but super soft Different color than I usually am just wearing like black or navy, but I think it's a pretty cool color. You're just repping the V today. You're repping the V hard.
I'm sending it. You know what? I wore that same blue one basically every podcast we've done. So I was like, I'm going to change it up.
Yeah.
I can't really quite. The microphone was in the way. It's a big V that stands for Viore.
Mm-hmm.
I love it.
Viore.com/thedink.
But yeah, and it'll be weird to see a pickleball world without Simone, right? She did say, what was it, last year, that 2022 was going to be her last year, I believe.
She retired. Immediately when she did that, I think we wrote a blog. I was like, she's not retired. Like, she's definitely.
Was she actually gone for any period of time?
I thought she just announced that it was going to be her last year.
Yeah,
but she
right.
never,
Yeah. It was like the Derek Jeter, this is going to be my last year, and then she played a full year.
Yeah.
Then she just
I think everyone knew that wasn't actually going to happen.
Right. Yeah.
Yeah. Well, moving along, our boys Scarpa and Dow had a really good tournament until they didn't.
Yeah.
Until they didn't. Do you think there's ever been an 0-0 pro gold final?
No, actually, I was thinking about this. I know the Matt Wright one, Matt Wright, Jeff Warnick, right?
Yeah.
But that wasn't a final. But it was like a quarter.
It might have been a winner's bracket final or something.
Yeah, you
before.
might be right. That was the only other one that came to mind that I could ever remember. Because I remember when that happened, thinking like 0-0 in a pro match is just wild outside of like a first round random,
Right.
So to have a gold medal match be that is, I don't know how that's possible. And especially because Anderson's so consistent and like he rarely misses, and Greg's got such a backhand counter. I couldn't like fathom a situation where he doesn't just like counter one ball for a point or something. But
yeah, I would like to see that match. I can't find it anymore. I think it was on TV, right?
Yeah,
I think they had switched to CBS Sports for that, so I didn't see it either.
That's absolutely.
So that probably
wild.
plays in their favor that no one actually saw it. But
yeah.
Selkirk paddle that's about to come out.
He is.
Wait, Andre was or Rob?
Oh, no, I'm sorry, Rob.
Yeah.
Rob.
Yeah.
Blue and black one.
Yeah.
The thing looked pretty cool.
Andre's all proton these days.
He seemed to be playing really well with it. So I don't know. I mean, obviously paddle's not gonna make that much of a difference, but Rob was playing really well. So.
Yeah.
Okay. Damn. Well, good for them that wasn't done on a YouTube stream or something. Kind of sucks. They played a really good tournament, a lot of good wins. And that's probably the only thing that anybody's gonna say about it.
I know that's frustrating for sure.
I just wonder what quote was Andre looking at that morning before that final.
What is the backstory with that? Do you know?
Andre?
Yeah, and his whole like quote thing is he just have like someone running a social media account that he puts those and then people start picking up on it? Or
John, none of us have anybody running for social media accounts. Andre has just decided, hey, look, this stuff is working for me. I love all these quotes. I want to share them with people 17 times per day.
Got it.
He spends a lot of time on socials.
Yeah.
Well,
all right, that makes sense.
I gotta admit a crime we committed. Apparently we weren't following him on Twitter, so that's fixed. But yeah, he's
just remember where that follow button is.
That one's over my head.
For when it gets a little old.
The unfollow.
Yeah. Follow turns into unfollow.
Right. When he's like rifling off promotional quotes back to back to back.
I didn't notice it for the longest time. And then I actually started noticing people like making memes or jokes about it and stuff. And then I kind of picked up on it. But I must not have been following either.
If you're going to make an error, make a doozy and don't be afraid to hit the ball. Billie Jean King. That was 41 minutes ago. 45 minutes ago. Work like you don't need the money. Love like you've never been hurt. Dance like nobody's watching. Satchel Paige.
Okay.
48 minutes ago. Start where you are. Use what you have. Do what you can. Arthur Ashe. He's just retweeting. He's quote tweeting over and over again the same picture of himself.
Mm-hmm.
The idea is not to block every shot. The idea is to make your opponent believe that you might block every shot.
How many minutes ago was that?
That was 51 minutes ago.
Oh my goodness.
53 minutes ago. I think that at the start of a game, you're always playing to win. And then maybe if you're ahead late in the game, you start playing not to lose. The true competitors, though, are the ones who always play to win. Tom Brady.
Wait, okay, hold on. How many tweets does he have? Because he's
56 minutes ago, 58 minutes ago. And so, yeah, okay, that closes that.
How many total tweets does he have so far?
I had no idea.
Like across his account?
Yeah.
I don't know.
Well, let me take a look. Because he's only had his Twitter for maybe like a month.
Look at this.
Yeah, those are the ones that crack me up.
Oh, wait, you can't see how many tweets
The one where
they have
he's
anymore.
literally in front of a whiteboard, like pondering in front of a quote, his own quote. Talent wins games, but teamwork and intelligence wins championships. Michael Jordan and then Andrei the Philosopher.
Nice.
That's
Great.
like the Michael Scott thing. Yeah.
What a goat.
Jamie put that in there. Jamie dropped that in. No, I think he was like doing inspirational quotes and then realized everyone was just eating it up because it's hilarious. And then he just leaned into it.
He doubled
Yeah.
down.
What you got to do? You got to double down on
Gotta
what
double
works.
down.
100%.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah. Okay. He's a gem. He has like the weirdest collection of paddles, though. Every paddle he uses is like some crazy color combination.
This is true. He had those, what was it, Warriors before? Or
Vikings.
Vikings.
Mhm.
He's got the Protons.
Mhm.
He was with Selkirk before that,
Before that,
right?
yeah. Well, the Viking was just notable because it was basically Dury yellow. And
We got to love that.
yeah.
So, anything else from APP? Oh, I guess we got Roscoe, our boy Roscoe Bellamy made his first final, and Jonathan Medina Alvarez won his first title.
Mm-hmm.
Can I read what you put on the sheet here?
Sure.
Gets absolutely shit on by a ref. Care to expand?
No, that was
the
just,
Roscoe
that
thing?
was the Roscoe calls the ball out when it's like 2 inches outside the line, and the ref just took a dump on it. He said that was in, and
He
Roscoe
handled it pretty well though. Like he was just going like that, and then just kind of like felt like moved on. But
Roscoe dealt with that as well as anybody could possibly
Yeah.
deal with that.
Yeah.
Like, I would have been contributing a lot to the SAN swear jar had I been out there.
I didn't notice what point of the match did that happen. Like at a pretty big moment in the match.
I think it was 8-6 in game one with Jonathan serving. So that puts him at 9-6 in game one, where it should have been 6-8 side out.
Okay. Yeah, I mean, yeah, that stuff matters, but really at that point, what are you going to do other than just move on?
Wasn't like match point or anything.
Yeah.
That'd be brutal.
Yeah.
But hey, he made it up. He got onto SportsCenter's top 10 with the nasty reverse backhand ATP. Have you seen this shot?
Yeah, I saw it very briefly
I happened to be watching it
because it was like a slap
and saw it
Yeah.
live, and I
different.
sent it to you guys almost immediately because it was pretty sick.
It was basically the tomahawk,
Yeah.
except off of the bounce and around the post.
Wait,
And
okay.
he made it
Speaking
look
of
really easy too.
Speaking of tomahawks, you've got this thing now, which by the way I really like. You should keep doing it. After you hit a tomahawk, you do this. Like at this point, I noticed you started doing that. I love it.
I only
You
did it
just
once.
did it once in
I did it
MLB,
once.
right?
No,
Yeah.
you did it. You did it a couple times. I have like
Did I?
multiple clips of you. Yeah,
Well, that's my thing now.
yeah. Make it your thing.
It will only happen after I hit them in. Should I double down even when I miss it? Be like, yep, I still did it.
Yeah.
All right, we'll send it.
People don't have like, you know, in basketball you hit a three. It's like icy. They do this. Or
Yeah.
like they do. You know, they've got these things that they all do. Like there's none of those in pickleball. Like we need more of that.
I
That
agree.
swag. We need
Every
these
time you hit
certain
a
types of
Tommy winner,
shots.
you just got to hold the pose and just do
Yeah,
that.
he goes like this. It's like
Do you think-
fans.
Do you think I should do the Tommy one, or do you think I should do reset button midpoint?
What's that?
We've been playing. So Brandon French, who is a goat, not for his pickleball abilities, but for his mouthing off abilities
Right.
while playing pickleball. He just has the best one-liner. Like he actually is the one that kind of came up with the tomahawk, or at least like pitched it to John and I a couple years ago. And
Hold on.
Zane
Is that not a
improved it.
Warnick thing?
Well, Warnick uses the same grip all the time. I think in order for it to be a tomahawk, you have to change your grip to do
I
it.
like it. Move the goalposts a little bit so you get more credit. I like that.
No, I'm giving credit to Frenchie,
Okay.
but like,
No, I'd agree with that. Warnick, like that's just how he plays. So
Right.
you can't really call it a specific shot because it's just
that's just his backhand. That's the way he hits backhands.
yeah.
Where's he been?
He's reading meters out in L.A.
Chilling?
Last time I saw him was
He's a professional walker.
he was at MLP San Clemente
Yeah,
talking shit.
yeah. He wasn't he part of the Miami
Professional.
team or something like that.
Yeah,
Like he didn't play, obviously,
yeah.
but
He had some pretty good ones.
yeah.
Okay, back to the reset button.
Anyway.
What's the reset button?
Oh, so somebody smashes a ball at you, and in the middle of the point, Frenchie, if he resets it in the kitchen, he'll just be like, reset button.
Yeah.
And so I've embraced it because most of my content comes from him. And so, but I've added to it. If somebody smashes a ball at me in rec play and I reset it perfectly, I'll go button and then just hold the pose there until they're about to hit the next shot. So I'm just like, I'm just dead still while everybody else is playing. People are like,
you did something like that to me when we were playing over with Maurice and Pickleball Will. Or maybe you called my shot out, and then for like 2 points in a row, he's just keeping his.
That
did do that.
Right. I've seen all these antics plenty of times.
I get to test them out on the Stop Alzheimer's Now court. It's
Yeah.
great. What's going to be your signature move, Johnny?
I don't know. You
Well-
got anything good? I don't.
Well, personally,
what-
I don't know.
I don't even know what I don't even know what shots I'm good at.
Personally, my favorite is when somebody hits you a really, really difficult shot and you like are barely getting to it and you go around the post and you get so mad at yourself and you go, that's so easy. When it's like legitimately one of the hardest shots of the entire day.
I do say that a lot.
He'll miss.
But I'm I'm of the mindset that like if you get a paddle on a potential ATP, you should make it every time. Like it's not that hard. If you're there and you put your paddle on it, like you should be able to just like bump it across the net. So they are so easy.
So easy. All right. Okay. So next piece of news was the Bryan brothers have announced that they are.
Mm-hmm.
I don't really know what they announced. They're playing pickleball, looking for an MLP
Is that
PPA
official? Because
deal.
last I heard
it's
it
not
was-
official.
Okay.
It's like they're trying to get they're
in
trying to figure out
talks.
the deal. Yeah.
Yeah.
I just heard it in the Dink newsletter, so I'll just take that with a grain of salt next time.
Do you not remember me bringing it up on the last episode with Rachel?
No, I wasn't listening.
That's nothing new. But yeah, no, it's not official. They're just like they're trying to figure out like how they would make it happen. I think they're working primarily with Major League Pickleball. But the thing with that is like, you know, the idea is they're going to play together. In Major League Pickleball, you can't exactly ensure that happens
That could
unless
be a problem.
like the GMs and the owners are like, yeah, we want them both. And you like come to an agreement that way. But then, you know, especially in the early innings, that's going to be a massive risk. Like they gotta train a lot before they get to a point. But I think their goal is like, yeah, they're going to put in 100% effort. They're going to train day in, day out, and they want to get like a documentary
Have they
crew
actually
to
said
film
that?
them. Yeah,
Really?
yeah, and
Because you see so many tennis players like clips of them playing or whatever. I don't know that I've ever seen a clip of them play pickleball.
right,
Have you?
Yeah, well, I haven't. No.
No.
Mm-mm.
So I kind of thought that they just weren't interested or whatever. But it'd be cool. It'd be great if they did.
Yeah,
Do you think they'll? I just have a super hard time believing that any of these guys is gonna grind. Like
I
obviously
do
they're
too.
so talented, but they've made so much money. They've played on such bigger stages. Like, what else is in it for them? I don't think they need the money. I don't think that they need the glory. Like,
No, the only thing I could think of is, I mean, they got to where they were probably because they're super competitive and they
Mhm.
hate losing and, you know, did what they had to do to become great players in tennis. So if that competitiveness carries over, like you don't just lose that, you know. If they actually start playing and they're going out and like losing to more kind of long-term pickleball players or people who they maybe see as not as accomplished as themselves, that would piss them off.
Yeah, for
and they'd
sure.
probably like get fired up
For
about
sure.
it, and the competitive juices kick in, and they
Right.
get better.
right. Yeah, they're pure competitors.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So are you betting on them being better than a Donald Young, like Sam Querrey?
Oh yeah, for
obviously.
sure. I mean, the skill set is like their hands. I mean, they can like, in essence, like reset a tennis ball. Like a guy will hit like a 100-mile-an-hour forehand at him, and they could just like drop volley it over.
Right.
So those are skills that your Donald Young and Sam Querrey's as singles players probably didn't possess.
Mm-hmm.
So I think.
I think that.
I think they'd be more on like a Jack Sock level.
Do you think their skill set's better or worse suited than Jack Sock? Like age, let's say they're the same age, right? And obviously they're a little bit older they're considerably older than Jack. Who do you think's game is better for pickleball? The Bryans or Jack?
I think we've talked about this before, but I think Jack has like the perfect game for pickleball because he played doubles. He is a sick volleyer. He's got great hands. He's super like one-step explosive, meaning he can cover a lot of ground in like one big movement. But more than anything, even as a tennis player, he was insanely wristy, and just like he made a tennis racket look like a pickleball paddle the way he could just like snap it around. So that kind of wristiness, if you can just kind of flick your shots like that, I think is what maybe the Bryan brothers will not have, a skill that they won't have that he does have.
He's probably the most successful doubles player to have come over and played pro pickleball, right?
Yeah, 100%.
When you look at the other players, part of what's missing is that like doubles game, the ability at the net. So in that sense, you would say, so maybe the Bryan brothers would be better suited because really the only glimpse of that we've seen is a Jack Sock, and he's obviously very good or has a huge upside. So if Bryan brothers, who are double specialists,
Martin was a top 30 doubles player, right?
Mm-hmm. I believe so.
He's made a pretty quick transition.
Yeah.
But you could also argue that Jack Sock could have been a better doubles player than Bob or Mike Bryan. His primary focus was singles. So like he played very little doubles events, but when he did, he always did quite well.
That's true.
Yeah. And he won one with one of the Bryan brothers.
He did. When one of them was injured, the other.
Yeah, he probably could have been a top 5 world ranked doubles player if he only played that and committed to that.
For sure. Personally, I think he would have been the best doubles player in the world if he had committed to it.
Yeah, I agree.
And found a partner that like
that's
he could
the
really
thing.
play with.
Mm-hmm.
Like Bryan Bros, righty lefty, they're brothers. They have probably better chemistry than anybody ever in like any sport. And I don't know. I think they have a lot. Like if I'm the guy who's saying that, yeah, they could be the next Johns Bros, or they could face like those are the reasons why I would put in favor of that argument, right? Like I think they have a lot going for them.
Mm-hmm. Did they play forehands in or forehands out? They played opposite, didn't they? Did they do something weird?
I don't remember. Yeah, I don't remember.
Gotcha.
I would assume they would in pickleball.
Yeah, they did. I'm not convinced on that.
No?
I'm not convinced that forehands in at the pro level is the only go-to. Because so many people struggle. Like think about Thomas Wilson on the right side. When his forehand is out wide, he can attack so well from out there, right? And if you have a righty on the left side, you're attacking with your backhand. And most people don't have great backhand attacks. They have good backhand out of the air.
Right.
But to have somebody who can take a lefty forehand off the bounce from up there. Also think about there are some people who have just really strong backhands. I don't want to speed it up through the middle to Annalie's backhand, right? Like I'm not 100% convinced that 10 years from now there aren't some forehand out teams, like a lefty righty flipped.
Yeah, I can see. I mean, that's one of the most difficult positions to be in pickleball is if someone has a dead bounced ball to the outside, because they can go line, they can go across your body. They have a lot of options. like you said, you're kind of giving up I think it's harder to attack out of the air with your forehand.
Mm-hmm.
So to maybe reach in and take a ball out of the air that you could get if your backhand was on the outside, maybe you're giving up a little bit. So there's a trade-off, I think, depending on what your skill set is and what you're good at. So, but I would agree. I think you could, there's a case to be made for that.
Yeah. When Stefan ends up on the left side every now and then in playing against him, it's weird. Just having a lefty straight in front of you, like when they're on the left side, then you just hit to his backhand and he's in shambles. Love you, Stefan.
Well, do you think that so what is weird about it? The fact that he's getting a forehand on the outside that bothers you?
Yeah, it might just be different patterns, right? You just don't ever see it.
Mm-hmm.
Okay. Well, reining shit back in. Major League Pickleball, it is shuffle draft week. Obviously the premier teams are pretty locked in. I would assume that people are going to try and make some trades, but there can't really be, there's no dropping in premier level.
I've never understood why that is.
Yeah, neither do I. But I think it probably has something to do with the contracts that we had signed with MLP and.
Yeah, I guess so.
So the Mad Drops, I think, are going to have to drop Brooke Buckner because I believe she's just can't play. She's pregnant for the next event.
And they have the first pick, right?
And they finished last. So they would have the first pick. Who are you taking in that spot?
Pretty obvious.
Yeah.
Allison Harris.
Yeah. What about Florida Smash? They're up next. They've got Colin Schick and Dominique Schaefer both at near the bottom of the player standings.
I think most likely, I don't know what the rules are. It used to be you could only drop one, or I don't know if you can make multiple moves now. But I would think if they could only do one, they'd probably have to address Dominique first. I think I've played some with Colin or played some against him, and I think you can see it's there and it's coming, and obviously the skill set's there. Like he's got a lot of offense and a lot of ability, but he just got to figure out some of the nuance. And I think the other issue is I think he probably prefers the left, and obviously Brendan prefers the left, and Brendan doesn't like to give up the left. So I think that was maybe, an issue with the construction of that team from the beginning. But I still think he maybe has more upside right now than I think Dominique. It'll probably take a little longer to get her where she needs to be, at least in doubles.
Yeah, I guess I would assume that they picked Colin for the upside, not where he was in July. And I guess if that's the rationale, you probably got to stick with him there potentially. But I don't know. Who do you think is at the top of the list? Obviously, there's Allison Harris on the female side, but guys, who are you picking up as a GM?
I mean, the big snub for everybody was obviously Callan and Pat Smith, but Pat already got picked up. Mm-hmm. I think Callan kind of makes sense with that team. If he's a solid right side player, he's a good setup player. Brendan likes to be the kind of alpha and create the offense on a team, and so Callan could be the kind of play that setup role. But yeah, I don't know. I guess I don't really know who else is out there.
Stop. Pan to me. I'm just trying to create some content over here.
God, anything for attention. I'm taking my boy Althoff.
Okay.
Mad Drops.
Okay.
So here's what we do. For the Mad Drops, we got to drop Brooke Buckner, right? You pick up Allison Harris with the first one. You can also drop Jordan Kinney, and then you have Althoff. That puts Gabe and Althoff together. Allison Harris is on that team.
So would that
and
be
then
like
there's McMillan.
That would be like a second time around, right?
It would be a
They would
second
have to
time
go all the way
around.
through and then come back around. And if no one got Althoff, then they could do that
Mhm.
technically.
So that would put your mixed teams as Gabe and Olivia, or Gabe and Allison, and Althoff and the other one,
Mm-hmm.
as well as Gabe and Althoff. And I think Gabe has the best game to cover like a good 60% of the court with Althoff. Like I think that's probably the best challenger level, one of the best challenger level.
That would be a
men's
tough
teams.
team for sure. Yeah, that'd be a very good team.
I'm still high on Althoff, and the hype factor is
It's
100% there.
absolutely massive in MLP. Like, yeah, I mean that stuff matters. Like the hype factor, the energy, even the fans. You know, like for the fives, we had a pretty good following of fans, and like you could tell the teams that we played were visibly annoyed with like the "Let's go fives" chants, and you know that stuff matters, even if it's only 1 or 2 points a game that you are like in the other team's head because they're annoyed or thinking about something a fan said. A lot of these MLP games are decided by a point or two.
Mhm.
You know, those kind of margins, like that stuff matters. So yeah, for sure. Althoff's energy is
Unparalleled.
Unparalleled.
I wish I had that energy. Can you imagine?
There was
dude's-
no osmosis to you from all those years you played with him.
It's maybe I learned and maybe I brought it last MLP, but
You did bring it last MLP, that's for sure.
yeah, I was
You had
fired
some
up.
moments.
I was riled up. Althoff, you know, he's got a great hip thrust, but he's never shimmied on the court.
It's true.
And yeah, so I've got to one up on
Maybe
him.
that's your new move. Maybe it's not.
Maybe it's the shimmy.
shimmy.
I learned it from Carlos.
That's true.
I learned it. We practiced that at Sean's court too.
Yeah.
Thomas, you good over there? Like, what's going on?
I'm trying
Okay.
to find the fan questions that we had for John, but I lost them.
Oh,
So,
damn. I hate when that
bit of an
happens.
issue.
All right. Well, we'll just keep carrying until then.
But
So-
I have a pretty important question.
Okay.
So in Vegas this weekend, my little brother and I are playing 4-5.
Mm-hmm.
We're also going to be playing Zane 2-on-1. I think we'll play what? 1 game to 11 maybe? What do you think our shot is? Who do you think wins that?
I've never seen you play pickleball before, I don't think.
Oh, I've got a
What would
fun
you
clip
say
for
your-
you. You guys just posted it yesterday.
What's your duper? What would you say your level is?
Oh, the duper is a touchy
Is
subject.
that's a bad. Okay.
I think it was like 3-8 until like 5 months ago or something. Zane said on a recent pod, what'd you say?
I don't remember. I say a lot of shit. What do you mean?
5'2".
Yeah, he said I was
Oh yeah.
Okay.
All right. Here's a video of his forehand.
Jamie, drop it in.
That's a bad.
And then he goes into this is the funniest part. He goes into talking about how like, yeah, I was using a new paddle. I just didn't come over it enough. It didn't grab quite as much. I was like, oh. So if you had a little bit more spin, that one wouldn't have gone over the fence.
All right.
So now that you have some data,
And your,
seems to be
your
very
brother's
confident.
around the same level?
Yeah, he's like 4-0 to 4-5.
Ooh.
Yeah, I'd give a heavy edge to Zane.
Really?
Yeah.
Really?
Uh-huh.
All right. Interesting. We're playing for $100. We're gonna stream it too, so that'll be fun.
I did on my YouTube channel. I did like a series where I started at 4-0 and did 2-on-1s, like progressively going to higher levels.
Yeah.
Until I lost.
Yeah.
And
Wait, you started at 4-0?
Started at 4-0.
Yeah.
So 4-0, 4-5 were pretty. They're pretty routine games. I played 2 5-0s that were legit 5-0s. They won gold at like 19 plus. Hilton Head, like one of them played college tennis for Notre Dame, and it was close, but I beat them,
Mm-hmm.
and then I lost to like 5-5s. I lost to Neil and Jerry.
Okay.
Did they
But
hook
it
you?
was, but it was 9-9 in game 1.
Yeah.
Damn.
So like, I would say based on what I'm hearing, I would say you're in a similar camp to like,
Mhm.
you know, the 2 that I played that are
Right.
5-0s. So,
Well, it won't be our first
but
2-on-1 versus pro.
what is important is how you play.
Right.
No. Don't give him any secrets. Don't give him any
if
secrets.
those 2-5-0s would have played me correctly, they would have beat me easily.
Right.
Did all the wrong things.
Yeah. Well, I mean, I almost beat Zane in singles. I pretty much did.
Okay.
Okay, sure.
I know Zane's game.
Perfect. There is a very...
You tell me, what's your strategy? Then I'll shake my head and tell you if you're right or wrong.
What is my strategy? I don't know if we have a strategy.
Perfect.
Yeah, we gotta put some thought into it. So we played 2-on-1 versus Jay DeVilliers, and we won that pretty convincingly. It was like 11-3 or 11-2.
Did you just decided to start the hands battle with him?
What's that?
What?
So
it does take a specific skill set to be good at 2-on-1 as well. Like as the one player. It's like I don't think all singles players are automatically going to be good at 2-on-1.
Mm-hmm.
But it matters how, if he knows, I assume he knows this, like, right, he's obviously going to know like what he's trying to do, and it's going to be a matter of if you can like neutralize that or not.
Right. Yeah.
I've trained. Yeah, I did a lot of this.
Yeah.
back in Wisconsin.
I think the one thing you can't do is like, because there's only one person on the court, it looks like there's a ton of open court all the time. So you end up rushing the point. So the one thing we want to do is just like pick our moments and be a little more patient versus trying to hit winners and forcing it.
100%. Everyone thinks, oh, like they see space. There's all this space here. I'm just going to hit it past you. And then,
Wrong.
That's what I want, because then I get to just like close that off and then start the fast game. And then, so.
Yeah.
So you mentioned your YouTube channel. You have a great YouTube channel. What else? What other good stuff do you have on there?
It's mostly instructional videos. I'd say like I love teaching. I've been teaching since I was pretty much graduated from college. I played tennis in college and then started teaching tennis. I think I have kind of a unique perspective because I was kind of self-taught in tennis. I picked up tennis late. And so even when I was in college, I was still like figuring out technique, watching a lot of like film and video and just trying to like, so I feel like I got a pretty good grasp on technique because I learned it and dissected it myself rather than being taught it from a coach at a young age. And so I just kind of carried that over into pickleball. So I try to look at things through a pretty like analytical lens and convey that to people who are interested as good as I can.
Yeah, seems like you're getting a ton of views on the YouTube channel. It's good stuff. You're like once every couple of weeks posting about?
Yeah, I was doing a good job of getting like one a week for a while. Then with all the move and stuff, it really fell off. And now I'm working with a new video editor, and
did you go on with Lee?
No.
Okay, somebody different. Gotcha.
So getting more kind of like systems in place so I can just like.
I think 5-0. I think he signed up for 5-0.
That's too bad that he wouldn't sign up for pro.
What do you think the chances are he saw our clips about him and when we were talking the stories about him?
I don't know, but I'm hiring security, and we're gonna have security at our 2v1 match.
Yeah.
Why is that? Oh, did you guys do something that I'm not aware of?
We just told a story about how he stole a McLaren.
Allegedly stole a McLaren.
And he's just a wild card. I think there were some other stories about him. Maybe somebody was on the show who told a story, and it was just like.
Well, there's the last time to my knowledge that he was in Las Vegas, he is this is an Althoff story. Althoff tells me this story. So he is at the food truck and he wants to buy something like crab cakes or something weird, right? And he's at the food truck and the guy's like, you know, if I make you this one, then I have to unthaw the entire thing and thaw the entire thing and I'm like leaving, so I can't make you just one. And Althoff is behind him and he's like, don't worry, I'll buy 3 more or something. And Zane is like, no. And Althoff's like, what do you mean no? I'm gonna buy them for me and for you. And Zane's like, no. And Althoff's like, what? He's like, well, what's the catch? And Althoff is like thinking to himself. And Althoff goes, okay. Althoff goes, okay, if you go take this guy's truck and drive it, I will give you the free crab cakes. So Althoff is talking to the food truck guy at the like display while Zane goes around the back, gets in this guy's food truck and like pulls it like 10 feet forward.
It was still attached to this food truck?
No, it was like one of those it was the one that's all in the same thing. So it wasn't like a tractor, but it was like the driver's seat was like 5 feet away and he goes around the other side.
So it was moving,
moves the food truck.
Jeez.
So yeah.
Wow.
That'll be entertaining. Okay. So one of the last things we had was pickleball was over at the National Mall, which is pretty cool, over in DC. Do you see that?
No. Is that? Oh wait. Maybe I don't know. That's not Pickle Mall, right? That's something.
No, it's like pickleball on the National Mall.
Got it.
With
I think I maybe
the Washington Monument,
about it, but I don't know any details.
Yeah, so I think the DC pickleball team and maybe their sponsor Humana and some other groups like worked together to put a bunch of pickleball courts on the National Mall. They did a bunch of exhibition stuff with some NBA players and their team members and stuff, and they put a pickleball court up in the Senate library, right? Something like that. There's a tennis court in there. That's pretty badass to get some politicians playing. Get us some more courts.
Yeah.
But it led me to wonder, John, which politicians would win in singles matches. So
boy.
I'm going to...
First of all, I stay out of politics as much as possible. So
until now.
I don't know that I'm going to know these.
All right. So this is one rapid fire. Who wins in a match between Kamala Harris and Ron DeSantis?
Ron DeSantis.
Bernie Sanders and Ron Paul.
Bernie Sanders.
Mitch McConnell versus Nancy Pelosi.
McConnell might freeze up.
It might get tight. They'll definitely need a line judge. Pelosi. Elizabeth Warren versus W.
Yeah.
Trump versus Biden.
Trump.
And this isn't politics, but Elon versus Zuckerberg.
Elon all day, easily.
Okay, now that we got that sorted.
You know what I did see though, by the way, Jim Kloss on Twitter, fighting the good fight. Getting into political Twitter.
Oh, did he?
Yeah.
Oh boy,
big Trump guy.
Oh really?
Getting in there fighting. So I just thought that was kind of funny.
He's the man's in the trenches.
Pretty hot political takes.
He should run for
Nothing
president.
Better than politics on social media, right?
Yeah, I think he was like pitching himself to. He pitched himself as like a GM. He pitched himself as for a show.
Commissioner.
PA,
I think he wanted to be commissioner.
Yeah. What can't this guy do? According to himself.
I think he said like, I'm not applying for this job, but I would be a really good commissioner of the new PPA MLP joint venture.
He's pretty high on himself, I think.
I wonder where he would draft himself in the next MLP. There's a good question. All right. Only other thing I have is I'm seeing more and more college pickleball teams popping up. As always, message me or Thomas or both of us if you are starting a club pickleball team. Let me know. We can get you guys possibly hooked up with some sponsorship and paddles, possibly. But yeah, shoot me an Instagram message if you're starting up a club pickleball team in college. Last thing.
Was it on the dink that I just read about, like Utah or some college that's offering like a scholarship?
Yeah.
Partial
no way.
Scholarships, yeah. Mhm.
I didn't know that.
Pretty cool.
Yeah.
It's good progress.
No, my little brother was playing in regionals this past weekend for Michigan's club team. They won that, but like he's been doing a bunch of like college pickleball. I mean, like it's picking up steam.
Mhm.
Like there's teams popping up everywhere. Like the next generation is coming. Like
What needs to happen, like, to make it an actual, like,
yeah, I
official
don't know.
college sport? Like, what
Right.
is that process?
Like
look
how like
you
what
know?
how do colleges value that? Why do they choose to instate a sport as like an official sport versus
Yeah,
not?
and is that a
like what are the
specific college thing, or
incentives?
is it an NCAA thing? Or?
Right. Like what do they
I don't know.
care about? You know?
Yeah,
I
and the
have
thing
no
is, it's
idea.
such a no brainer too. Like eventually, right? It's probably a cheaper sport than anything but cross country,
Yeah.
right? Because cross country, you need very little. You need like shoes,
Right.
But pickleball, you need some court space. So anybody that has tennis courts, you can get it,
Mhm.
and then you need paddles and balls, and
Yeah.
it's not very expensive,
Yeah.
and it doesn't screw up any Title IX requirements either, with scholarships or whatever.
Yeah.
So I mean, like, I don't know what the actual the protocol is, but like it has to be coming.
Yeah, you'd think so.
I think as an MBA student, I could compete on the UT team. So
That'd be pretty
what
dope.
is it? Eligibility? I still have eligibility.
Nice. There we go.
You didn't use it up yet?
Yeah.
Nice.
Don't you have
Do that.
eligibility in different sports too, or is that not a thing?
I don't know.
Oh, you know what it was? It was so in tennis, if you played professionally and took prize money, you couldn't go back and play tennis. But some J.R. Smith played basketball professionally, and now he's back in college playing college golf.
Yeah.
Oh, yeah.
So you can take prize money from one and then go play the other.
Right.
Yeah, that makes sense.
That's pretty cool, actually.
So last thing, we had Stop Alzheimer's Now questions. Nick Morant, we got something from you, but I don't know if we had a question associated with it. Kevin McPherson wanted us to rank pro pickleball pets. Top 5 pets of pro pickleball.
Of pro
Like-
pickleballers?
Like of
I
the
don't.
Yeah, like who are the best pets that pro pickleballers have?
Are they
Do I
just
even know
pandering
any?
to you and Murray?
I would hope so, yeah. Like obviously Murray's number 1, so who's 2 through 5?
I don't even know what any of the other pets are.
Only ones I can think of are
Coops.
Daisy.
Yeah.
Daisy's a goat. I mean, not actually like a goat, but like the greatest of all time
Right.
after Murray, obviously. There's Vivian's dog, Nala. Mish has a dog.
Thomas has
Tommy's got a dog.
what's that dog?
Nash.
Nash, yeah.
Nash.
Brittany's always wearing the hat, the Nash hat.
It's good stuff.
There you go.
There you go. That's our 5.
I think Murray's got to be the most famous. All right, PicklePod.
Okay.
Thanks, Johnny.
All right. Thanks, guys.
Ugh.
Fun.
Yeah. I'm not gonna